Veterans Memorial to remember those who served and those who never made it home. More now on the fight over DACA. All eyes on the Supreme Court today as justices weighed the fate of the program that shielded hundreds of thousands of young people from deportation. Former President Obama created it by executive order. The Trump administration has been trying to end it, but it's not as simple as that. Let's talk about it with Izzy Ortega from the LIBRE initiative, who's up late with me on the Final Five. Izzy, give me an idea of, A, what's at stake here and what your organization is doing in this fight, because we saw a huge amount of people outside of the Supreme Court over the last day or so.
Absolutely, Jim. We're talking about approximately 700,000 young men and women who came to this country at a very early age, who have been doing so much to contribute to our country and to our local economy. Most of them are enrolled in school. Some of them have even served in the military, and so this is a big deal. And what we're calling for is not so much for the Supreme Court to act, but for Congress to take action, and for both parties to really come together and provide a permanent solution for these folks.
We've had the debate over DACA going on for most of the Trump administration, and the president has seemed willing at times to say he is ready to go to the table with Democrats and come up with some sort of resolution, some sort of compromise. The reality is you do have a lot of people within the Republican Party, within the GOP, who still believe that this is nothing more than amnesty.
Well, some of the polling that we've looked at, I mean, it's overwhelming. Like 86% of the American people, there was one poll I think that Axios did a story on last year, support keeping DACA recipients, keeping Dreamers here. And that includes a big number of Republicans as well. So I think, yeah, let's talk about how the president has said how we should find a way to keep people here. And again, it should be both the president and Congress working together to provide a solution.
When you look at the program itself, I know that there's always, and let's be honest, it's Washington, and people are going to look at something from one of two perspectives. But, you know, this is a program where these are people who apply for it. They have to be approved. They have to be screened. There's an entire process. This is not a matter of just allowing people in and lining up and saying you're in the program, correct?
Right, absolutely, Jim. We're talking about folks who have been vetted by the government. These are folks who have passed a criminal background check. Again, I mean, majority of these folks have work or are working, are in school. Some of them are even business owners, and so they're providing jobs for others. And so I think that we ought to find a way to make sure that these folks stay here. But again, we shouldn't wait for the court to act. It should be Congress to take action.
Well, it sounds like, as the president said earlier today, you have a court that leans, that has a 5-4 conservative bent. Theoretically, if they were to say this program was unconstitutional and kick it back to the White House, the president said he would work with Congress, he would work with Democrats, which obviously that's the difference this time around. You had the GOP running the show, all chambers last time. Now you have the Democrats in control of Congress. But it's not as simple as saying we're going to work a program. I mean, in the past, the president said he wants to attach more border security, enhanced screening, something that your organization would be in favor of as well?
That's right. Yes, absolutely. What we've been calling for is pairing border security with a permanent solution for Dreamers. I was at the Supreme Court today, and I can tell you that as I was talking to Dreamers, I was talking to folks who were there supporting Dreamers. Yes, they wanted the court to act, but a lot of them were also saying, look, Congress ought to act, and regardless of what happens, obviously today were just the oral arguments, and so the actual decision will be next year. But what they're saying is, let's put pressure on Congress to act.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's not easy to do in this town. I think we all know, regardless of what it is. But, you know, a lot can happen, and we won't know really the gist of what will happen today until the summer. But I think that's every step of the immigration debate, it seems, Izzy. We get to a deadline. We get to a point of no return, and then comes the panic, then comes the scrambling.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and that's the important thing, Jim. Is remember these are folks, individuals we're talking about. I mean, 700,000 is such a large number. But when you think about the individuals, I've met Dreamers, including a Dreamer who was homeless for a while. Now he's working for a very important Fortune 500 company. I mean, these are personal stories about folks who could be impacted by this.
We're going to hear a lot more about that, I'm sure, coming up. Izzy Ortega from the LIBRE initiative. Thank you very much for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Back after this in the Final Five.
This season, find a more inspired drive in an all-wheel drive Mazda 3. Road and Track says it might make you reconsider your Audi.